My goal is to try to get people who can't understand where we're coming from, where you see what's going on in the world right now. I panicked a little bit. Hey man, it brings back the old days. But
I was always ready to go. Like, oh,
anytime you show up to the party with this,
welcome back, everybody. So a piece of big news. I think I might have come up with a name for the sports show. I know it's kind of been overdue. We're gonna
17 episodes.
We're gonna run this with On Par. So it's gonna be the On Par sports segment of Men and Means. And thank you for joining us for the On Par segment.
Let's get on par.
Let's get on par. If anybody doesn't know what on par means, it just means getting your shit done. You know what I mean? Like it should be.
I've never been on par, so it's interesting to see where this is gonna go.
Yeah. Par is something I don't even look at. You know what I mean? I'm just here for the beer.
I'm usually above par.
Oh.
Above par, yeah. That's not good.
Yeah.
All right.
I thought I was like, what, you trying to show off? Like,
No.
I don't even know how it works. I was like, above par. Fucking,
that's right. The man doesn't know how to play golf.
Show off.
He's got golf clubs, but never used them.
I've used them.
Have you?
Yeah, me and Travis went to the driving range.
What did you do?
Vincenzo. Hey, dude, we were hitting some fucking. Travis was giving some pointers. We were actually cranking them out pretty decent too, man.
We're gonna have to set something up. We'll have to go.
I'm always down.
All right.
Yeah.
So
and I actually went and played 18 holes with Travis not too long ago, right before I got signed to the Ravens, if you guys would recall.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But then you were on the DL, I think, right? Or
Hey,
the
you know,
reserve?
dude, why you gotta bring it down, bro? You know what I mean? I was there, you know?
I'm glad you're experiencing a little bit of golf. But shifting lanes a little bit. We're gonna go into a little bit of NBA. Big news. I think last time we talked about the midseason trade deadline. The Lakers not doing nothing, but they did make a big splash with signing Andre Drummond, who I have coined AD2.
You did.
Right? I want to know from you where do you guys think this is going? How good of a trade do you think? How good of a signing do you think this is? Is this better than anything the Nets did? I want to hear what you got to say.
I'd like to just say, honestly, I like the AD2 thing. Also, I just recently purchased a Anthony Davis jersey, so that's my take on what the Lakers did.
I don't think it's anything better than what the Nets did, because the Nets went out, they got James Harden on a trade, and then are you talking about in comparison to Blake Griffin?
Blake Griffin and Aldridge.
Aldridge, okay.
Aldridge.
Honestly, I know AD2 is young, but I kind of feel like he's on par with Griffin, and because I mean he had a good beginning of the career where like he kind of made a splash, but he never really like climbed up. I think what he gives the Lakers is what they needed with some size. But other than that, I would still lump him in that group that never really got over the hump. That's why he kind of bounced around slightly, you know, or
yeah.
I mean, they just cleared him off waivers. And they picked him up on the signing. So
can I ask a question about it? Then I'll resort back to you guys who are a little more knowledgeable on it, right? But just looking back and understanding what today's NBA looks like, I see like, okay, the Lakers have picked up a few big men, but the league isn't really geared towards big men at this point. And if it is, it's big men that really stretch the floor, like an Anthony Davis can, right? Like, you know, to an extent, I'd say. But
to a good extent,
yeah. But so that I'm gonna ask that question to see like how does that weigh into what you guys' opinion is on this pickup.
Well, I think it lends itself to is when a team is running a small lineup or a big lineup, you're outmatched if you don't have size that you can throw in there and put against and match up. That's where I think you're at a disadvantage. And to your point, yeah, the league is not geared towards big men anymore. But what we do know is there's efficiency in the paint. There's always going to be those things. And you are going to need rebounding and defense at the rim. If you don't have that as a team, it's hard for you to kind of minimize what the other team's going to do, because we know it's an offensive league. So you're going to have teams score. You're going to score, but you got to have those guys that can get the offensive rebounds, defensive rebounds, and just kind of go body up somebody if they put someone big in the lineup. So you got to have a matchup at least. And that's where I think big men play their role in this league.
And I think with AD2, I'm gonna make that nickname go. I'm just gonna keep using it. Hopefully it trends. But
It reminds me of you guys just seen those commercials like AD do. Remember those like in the 90s?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Dude,
Was that like a plumber or something?
Yeah, it was like a plumber. Dude.
Yeah.
Like that. That's what it reminds me of. Every time I hear it.
But
82.
I honestly I think he fills the gap that you mentioned. He's a big man. I think he is a big man that's not on that next level like a Joel Embiid or so. But I think he definitely has something where he is a rebounder. He has putbacks. He's not a guy you need to feed in the paint constantly. He's going to be there to clean up boards and be able to score. He can shoot the three here and there. Probably not at a great clip, but
Not a great free throw shooter.
no, not
either.
a great free throw shooter either. But he's bringing defensive intensity. He's bringing rebounding, offensive rebounding.
He's young.
So he's young as well. So I actually hope that they can work this out to where he gets re-signed to a more long-term deal.
And little ego. This is a guy
That's a big point.
which I seen special on him at one point when he was doing really well. He actually got bullied as he grew up. So he has that kind of mentality where he goes in there. He seems to be a humble guy. You go play with LeBron. You go play with these superstars. You got to have that small ego and just know what role you're playing, especially coming off of waivers and having that talent. I think he does have. I think it also lends itself to playing on a team like the Lakers. If you've seen them last year make that run, they're pieced together with a lot of good role players, and that's been kind of the theme of good championship teams over the last couple of years. Going back to the Warriors run, it's all about role playing your role and knowing what you got to come in, do your job. And I think he can definitely fit there. He's not a guy that needs the ball. He's not someone like that. So I think it's a good move for the Lakers. I'm actually happy that they went out and signed him.
Yeah, I think it's a great move for them. They definitely needed it. They're not getting what they need to get from Marc Gasol. So I think Marc Gasol now kind of puts them in that next tier of they don't need as much from him. He'll come in handy in the playoffs. He'll be that guy who can give fouls and give you some minutes to spell Anthony Davis and Andre Drummond. But so I think it actually puts them back again, being right there with the Nets, number one contender for the NBA Finals championship. So sticking to some NBA, I wanna know, because we always talk about it. Kyle Kuzma, right?
I know.
Kyle Kuzma.
Okay.
And I was very high on Kyle Kuzma, and then, he kind of stopped performing to where he was at. This year he's playing a little bit better. He's getting a bigger opportunity with both superstars out. He has stepped up his game. But I want to know from you, what do you think with Drummond coming on board is going to do for Kuzma? And long term, what do you expect from him once the superstars get back?
Well, I'm not a huge Kuzma fan because I think we've seen his highest potential. If I had to guess, I would say that what he's doing now is not anything that anybody should be excited about. You're talking about superstars who aren't playing. He has to do well. He has to play well. And when you're a team that's going to go and pick up pieces during the season and the offseason, you're going to go reload, you can't afford to be the worst player on the team because you'll find yourself not on the team at some point. I think Kyle Kuzma, we've seen what he can do, but he has not shown himself in the playoffs. He has not shown himself consistently. So what we're seeing is another flash in the pan, I think. Yeah, I've yet to still see him be consistent over the course of a season. They pump up a lot of these young guys throughout the year, but I think we see spurts. And I don't know if he can afford playing with this team who's going to be making championship runs over the next 3-4 years. I don't know if he's going to fit over the next 3 or 4 years. This is not a learning experience for him. This is crunch time. We need him to be consistent when he's in the game. What are you going to get from him? But right now, it's a flash in the pan, I think.
Okay. Yeah, I think he's I think what he's doing now is what he's capable of doing regardless of who's in the game, especially if he's coming off the bench on that second team. But like you said, I think he just needs to be more consistent with it and really bring his value. So we'll see where he goes. I hope that he does rise to the occasion and play better and more consistent. But I do want to stay on the NBA, but I want to shift a little gears. I don't know if everybody else saw, but there was a little KD beef. What I mean? I don't know if people saw that. Michael Rappaport.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I want to get your guys' take on that. What do you think? Is it a good look for KD? He has been known, and he has been known to be kind of soft when it comes to the media and people saying anything about him. What do you guys? What's your take?
Personally, I get it, I guess, right? And this was like a private message. This wasn't like supposed to be like a I'm
Public.
posting this
Display.
for everybody, right? I think Michael Rappaport put it out,
Yeah.
which I think that's a coward move.
It's a bitch move.
Like that's come on, and Michael Rappaport, like he's cool, like to watch on like Instagram, I guess. He's like doing those little rants and shit, but no one really respects him, like like especially not in the sports world. Like he's always commenting on like, who are you, dude? I don't really care, you know what I mean? Like, so I think it makes Michael to my understanding anyway. This was like a it's a defamation of character thing going on between Barstool Sports and fucking Michael Rappaport, which it sounds like Michael Rappaport lost anyway.
Yeah.
And then he got mad and then retaliated by putting the shit out about KD, which I think, that kind of says itself about what kind of man he is. You know what I mean? Have some standards, have some class. Don't want to bow out, bro. You fucking, they got you. All right, regroup and come back, but don't resort to that. So from KD's perspective, I got no issues with it, man. It wasn't meant for everyone. That's like screenshotting some shit someone sent you and then posting it. That wasn't the game.
But would you say that? I mean,
What was the headline? The headline was misogynistic and homophobic comments, remarks, right?
from Katie, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. I
I just want to
say.
say, you stated that Michael Rappaport, who is he? What is he? I guess who stands to lose more, right?
I get
Obviously,
your point.
it's KD. So you have everything to lose. And it's all because, and I kind of want to tie it back to that you're KD. You don't need to stoop down to that level or even entertain that from what Michael Rappaport said. You don't even need to entertain anything any writers say. So why put yourself in that situation?
Well, and that's kind of what I was trying to say. Like, and I get that. You're absolutely right. But I do also think a couple of things. I think there's always, we're always told like be the better person or be the bigger man or whatever. Sometimes it's like fuck that, like legitimately. Sometimes and he didn't do it in a manner like I'm gonna go publicly try to deal with this. He did it like, hey, I'll hit you up directly. Like, you got something to say, I'll let you know. That's like, to me, that's the man way to do it. Like, I'm not gonna do this for the scenes and for the cameras.
Well, you know what he did? He did the Anthony and Ken. He said, "Meet me here." And let's book it.
Yeah. That part was more comical. Like,
Well,
he's not gonna meet you on the corner.
I clearly was kind of joking with him, right?
Yeah.
Like but then too, like it falls back into what we talked about a couple of weeks ago, like the whole cancel culture and the whole things being taken out of context. Like we know how we talk and we say things.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's like, yeah, and I get it. Like it's not. I guess like the nicest way to put something, but I'm not trying to be nice sometimes, right?
Well, I mean, and we don't even have the whole picture because, like, in the messages, he said, "Me and Michael talk way worse than this to each other because they do talk to each other,
Right?"
And he was like, "So you can imagine the shit that they talk back and forth. This is just what Michael felt like
chose
putting
to put out, right?
And to the headline threw me off completely because we live in an age where we talk about cancel culture and clickbait,
Exactly.
misogynistic and homophobic comments. If those are the criteria for that, a lot of my friends have violated and I've violated some shit.
Well, yeah.
How many times have you told some guy to suck my... I think I told our viewers, hey, if you don't like this shit, suck my dick. That's not homophobic.
Yeah, how's that even?
I'm talking shit. So a lot of it was saying, hey, you suck dick. Your wife thinks you're a pussy. Like I don't want to list those as homophobic or misogynistic. So this is the vulgar way men talk to each other sometimes. It's not pretty. You're trying to hurt someone's feelings when you're talking to them like this. You're trying to disrespect them. And for some people, if you're Michael Rappaport and somebody says, hey, suck my dick, and that makes you feel some type of way, like it offends you in a homophobic way, you're misconstruing the message. The message is simply, hey, I want to fucking hurt your feelings. I want to talk some shit to you. And if I'm getting to you, here comes the DM coming out. Right. And like you said, I'm okay with KD sending, because we know KD is going to respond, but I'm okay with KD sending DMs to him. I don't like the fact that Michael's putting them out there and kind of showing you guys this one-sided conversation.
Yeah, I think I'd imagine that there was some, and understanding that even more so that they said that there was a background of this. Understanding like, hey, this is someone that I can do this with. We could go back and forth, and we're not, we understand the bigger picture here. We're not kind of trying to out anybody or do that. We're having like, fucking around banter going on. I like that's like us three right here, or us four here, since Travis is, here. He's just being silent. Just talking shit and then me recording it and then going to put it out like, well, look what these guys were saying. Yeah. Like that's tacky, bro. You know what I mean? Like that's not it's out of context. I don't know. To me, I'm very disappointed in anybody that does something like that.
God forbid anybody hears the conversations that I had to cut out in between
Yeah.
in between takes here.
Yeah.
But they're not always pretty conversations.
Yeah.
So
Shit's happened.
Shit happens. We know KD is going to be wrapped up in this world probably for the rest of his career, but I'm not surprised to see him wrapped
He
up
should
in
have
some
sent it
DM
from his
shit.
burner account.
That's what I was to say. Didn't he have a burner account? Like, didn't he have one? Like, you should have fucking used it.
They've all been exposed.
I got one, but you to burn it.
It's okay. I still like KD. I'm not mad at him for
I
that.
like KD.
Yeah, I don't think like
He's
the
a
things that
baller.
were said. Even then, I think that's what I mean. Like the media will take it and misconstrue it and try to get a headline out of it. But I don't think anything was nearly as misogynistic or homophobic as it was.
As the headline was.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like
Yeah.
that wasn't the case. He was even him doing that. I think it was still mindful of like, okay, don't you? There's a level that you can. It's okay, and then not.
Yeah.
And it's sad that even when you do that, it's still going to be scrutinized in that same light.
Yeah.
Well, KD, I still like you. So
The kid's the man.
moving on to a little, well, not little. Today, opening day, guys. MLB. As you could see, me and Kensington here both have our what did you call them?
What is Boston? Right?
Boston hats.
The Boston Dodger hats.
The Boston
The
Dodger
Boston
hats, yeah.
baked beans.
Yeah. Well, we both.
Peep it too.
The Jackie
There you
Robinson
go,
Boston
Jackie Robinson edition. Boston.
Yeah.
Boston Dodgers.
Just want to point out the difference there.
Yeah.
Represent everybody. Hold it down.
There you go.
You know what I mean?
But in reality, it's Brooklyn Dodgers. Opening day today. The Dodgers had their opening game. Kershaw got the nod to get on the mound and pitch the first game. Obviously,
They
go
won
ahead.
then, right?
What?
They won?
Oh no, they lost.
Oh shit,
They
my
lost.
bad. I didn't watch it.
I was actually leading into that, but I guess you can't wait to me to get there. But Kershaw got the nod to be the starting day pitcher. And my question to you, I'm going to ask you, James, because we know Ken is
You
an
don't
Angel
know
fan,
who
so he
Kershaw
doesn't
is.
know anything. So, do you think he got the nod because he's still the man to pitch the first game, or is it equity built out in his career being a Dodger?
I think he's still the man.
You still think he's still the man?
I still think he's the man, but I think it's a blend of both. I think you can't have Kershaw pitch and just strictly say he's the man because there's a lot of great talent on the fucking rotation, but there's obviously equity built up, and here's why I'm okay with that. Opening day is right behind in my head. Well, there's three things. You got spring training, which I don't really care about. You have like Fan Fest and shit like that where you're gearing up for the year. And then you have opening day, which means nothing.
Mhm.
It's the opening game,
One
win
game.
or lose,
One
doesn't
game.
fucking matter. It's the start of a long season. So the beginning, it's more of a festivity. It's more of a celebration of the season starting. So I say, why not have Hall of Famer, workhorse, his whole career with the Dodgers, go out there and pitch the first game.
Yeah.
You know, so
Agreed.
I think it's a blend of both equity, and I still think he has good stuff when he's on. So
Agreed, and I think like you said, I think it's just kind of a ceremonial thing. First game, first pitch.
It's like an
inauguration.
acknowledgement
Oh, acknowledgement, okay.
of like what he's done there, right?
Yeah.
Like, hey, you know what? You're gonna be the guy to go out there and start first
Yeah.
game.
So I too agree that he's still great. He's not what he was, but he's still a good pitcher. And I do feel like it's equity. It's kind of wrong to not have him out there being the guy who he's been for his whole season with the Dodgers. I do find it a little concerning. This was the stat line today. He got a little roughed up. 5.2 innings pitched, 10 hits, 5 earned runs, and what's mostly because ERA is ERA. You're playing in Colorado. What's most concerning is he only had 2 strikeouts.
yeah, well, I mean, with opening day, you're not really oiled. You're not really there. You're not in your form. And on top of that, you're playing at one of the most dangerous hitting baseball stadiums offensively of in the whole league, probably the worst.
And where is
right?
that?
Colorado.
Okay.
And like I said, you make a mistake, these guys are professionals, they're going to hit. So I think it just goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
Again, win or lose, I think.
I don't think like you said, I don't think it's concerning. I think it's like you said, the first game, getting the rust out. I think they'll bounce back. The first series, I'm not really worried about it, but they'll still be there at the end of the season. Yeah. They were projected to be the winningest team in the MLB at 103.5 games this season 1. What are you going with that? Over or under that?
I'll go with under.
Under. I will go over. So we'll see at the end of the season where it's at. Ken,
I weigh in?
Where do you think the Angels will be?
Well, I want to say obviously the Dodgers are off to being a record of being under. as their
Not really. There's
their winning
162
percentage
games.
is 0 right now. All right, that's all I'm gonna say. Right now, their winning percentage is 0.
0.000.
0.00.
Who's your guys' opening starter? Shohei Ohtani?
Probably, yeah, I'd assume.
And he's also batting first.
Cleanup?
Lead off.
Yeah, but whatever. Who's batting third? We already know.
Who?
I don't know. Mike Trout, I'm assuming. Is that still third? Is like the go-to guy?
It's still
Third
Pollard.
and fourth. Is
Oh,
three,
all
four
right.
hitters, yeah.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. So
Ohtani will be third or fourth.
So speaking of the Angels and the powerhouse team that they are, that they're always in the hunt.
2002 World Series, baby.
2 World Series.
2002 World Series.
Oh, okay, my bad. I thought you said 2 World Series. Yeah, 2002, sure, whatever. What other team would you put on that level? Obviously, the Yankees are stacked this year as well. So what other team, do you think it's the Yankees? Do you think there's another team that's going to show up and really give, besides, the Padres are going to be
be in the World
competition,
Series?
but yeah.
Yeah, I think the Yankees for sure. I think they, even when they weren't projected to come close, they had talent on the roster and they got close. I think they'll be there. I mean, this is a championship caliber team, so I think for sure they'll be there. Angels, I don't think make the playoffs again.
Yeah.
I don't think they get a taste of the
They
playoffs.
still got Torrey Hunter on the team?
I think he's analyst now,
Okay.
but
I
I
don't
don't know.
even know who these people are.
Yeah.
What?
Let's talk about the Denver Broncos.
What's
Then.
the coach? What the fuck are you talking about?
All right, so what's your World Series prediction?
I'll go Yankees Dodgers.
I will go Boston?
Boston, nah.
No, let's go Yankees Dodgers. I'll go Yankees Dodgers.
Boston, yeah. They after they hit the salary cap and they won the World Series and they were fucking probably cheating too.
Yeah.
I think they're.
I'm with you. Yankees Dodgers. Ken, who you got?
Astros. Just to be a
It's not a bad
dick.
pick.
Just to be a dick. 'Cause,
No, that's good.
and what's in another league? What are the other leagues?
Angels?
There it is.
Angels
The
Dodgers.
Angels, Astros. Is
They're
that
the same
league?
league.
Well, that's what I meant. That's what I asked. I don't fucking
Brother,
know.
you got to get on par with this.
Hey, bro, I'm not on par with the fucking baseball. You know what I mean? Now, you guys want to talk about some dodgeball? Fucking come on, all the way. You know what I mean?
See this look I'm giving you?
Global gym, dude. Come on, we already know.
Okay. Just really quickly, I want to get into a little NFL. Those are the 3 big sports that we got. Next week, we're going to talk a little bit of. Actually, no. I want to bounce back to the NBA. We left off last week talking a little bit of LaMelo Ball.
Yep.
I want to get your input on that as far as when he went out, where he was at. What do you think he did, and do you think he's going to be injury prone throughout his career? Because I already think the guy's kind of heading towards the superstar.
He's in a small market team. There's not a lot.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ken. Are you here?
Him. Yeah, I've
Do you
been
know
here all
basketball?
night. We talk about LaMelo Ball. You know what I mean?
Let me hear about your LaMelo Ball.
We're paying attention to him a lot because of the name, right? And
Don't discredit
hold
what he's
on.
done.
Let me finish. He's looked pretty decent, but I'm not blown away by him. You know what I mean? And I think too, as he progresses in his career, teams will start keying in on him, and things will be different. I do think he has some raw talent, but he'll really need to improve that. And then injuries are something. I mean, it's hard to predict, right? Like you never know. I don't know. We'll see how that goes, but I think it'll be interesting to see him progress.
I do want to mention that you are a bit right on that as far as the name and why they're branding him because of his dad and Lonzo and having so much fame in high school. But I will, and I do agree that the media definitely went away from Zion and started talking nothing but LaMelo Ball. And I think LaMelo Ball will be the superstar. I think he's that good. But who do I think is better between Zion and LaMelo? Definitely Zion. If you've noticed what he's done this year, his numbers are astronomical. Like he's putting up almost Shaq numbers.
Yeah, he's
right?
got all-star numbers.
Yeah. So and he was doing this even before LaMelo went out. So to your point, yes, they were talking about him because of who he was, and they kind of put Zion on the back burner because last year Zion was the number one guy. Like he was all they talked about for the time that he was playing.
Well, I mean, and just to say this about Zion, what's his name? Ben Simmons. He was like a rising star, a rookie of the year candidate for like his first 3 seasons in the NBA. So why the fuck can Zion not be a rookie of the year? But what I will say is I want to separate. First, I want to say LaMelo Ball is the best Ball brother.
Yeah,
I think he's the most talented Ball brother. But I want to separate him from everything you expected from him. Him being good in high school, he didn't play against talent. Him going to another country and playing, he wasn't playing against talent. He was forced into this decision by his parents. Forget all that. All of what he was supposed to be because of what he was. I will say he has performed this year. I will say when you see him, he's got good things about him. He's a good team guy. But like Ken said, I don't know once you start keying in on him if he's going to be able to do what he's wanting to do on the court the whole time. So I don't know if he's going to be consistent or he's going to hit a wall. I don't know. A lot of guys hit that sophomore slump. I think he's prone to that. Now with injuries, we don't know, but we do know his brother has dealt with lingering injuries since he's come into the league. He's not built for the physicality, and I don't know if LaMelo is either. I mean, I think that again plays into genetics. I don't know. I think it might play a factor, but the style of basketball he plays is a little more graceful than his brother. Yeah. So I would say that he's got hopefully a bright future, and he is playing in a small market.
And I will say I do enjoy watching him play. I think he's more exciting than his brother. I think his brother's more, he was exciting before in college and high school. I think he's maybe lost a little confidence along the way, but I think LaMelo is
the Lakers playing for the Lakers.
That'll do that to you. But I think LaMelo doesn't have. I think he learned from his brother. I think he's going to be, as long as injuries don't get in the way, I think he'll be a superstar. I think he'll learn how to play once they key on him. He like Ken said, he's got a lot of raw talent. So,
I think the thing is going to be there. I think the key takeaway from that is going to be how much he invests in developing that. Right, like if he's going to do that, then he'll be fine. Also, as far as injuries, if he's going to invest in kind of making sure he's in top shape and doing these things, as you see a lot of the top athletes are doing now, he'll need to make sure that he's doing those kind of things. If he does that, he gets the right coaching staff around him and people like that to really develop his talent. He has enough to definitely develop into that.
Do you think he will?
Or something.
Do you think he will stay with the Hornets?
No. I think he'll be. No one. I can't imagine. No, he has too big of a name. I imagine he can make a lot of money, especially if he has productive seasons. Then I think he'll want to go to a bigger market.
Yeah, I think he'll stay with them long enough to make them a playoff contender, like a 5-6 seed consistently. And then once that next contract comes, I think he goes to a big market.
Well, they were up to a 4 seed this year.
Yeah, but I mean,
before he got hurt.
This year, even with their record, it wasn't a very tough competition conference. So I don't think the record matters as much this year because like they did have a decent record, but they were seated high with a shitload of losses still.
Right.
So I think they were just slightly over 500, sitting at like 4 or 5. So. The East is kind of weird this year in terms of like teams playing their best, right?
Standings,
I think once he gets that little mid contract where it's a few years and they're trying to build around him, I think he'll stay. But I think once that runs out and maybe they're not in contention for a finals or even a deep playoff run, I think he'll go to a contender.
And a player of his caliber, what's going to define him is winning in the playoffs.
That's it.
And how much he contends for finals.
Well,
Ken, I know you had something to say. So
that was the point I was going to say too. Is like you could look great in the regular season all you want, but the reality, and I think too that'll play in being where he's at. But if you're not winning in the playoffs, you're not going to the finals, you're not doing those things. As a player, that's your ultimate goal. So I imagine at some point, the decision will be made to probably move.
Yeah. Okay, we're pushing it up against the wall right now. So I want to get a couple things in, and then we'll catch up on it again next week. NFL, we've had a bunch of pro days. I had a bunch of topics, but we'll just shrink it down. I want to know really quickly, quarterbacks. Who you guys? I don't know how deep in college you get, but I don't know if you've heard anything about the NFL. We've seen the San Francisco 49ers trade up a bunch of draft picks to get to number 3. Who do you think is going number 1 between Wilson, Lawrence, and Josh Fields? And who do you think the 49ers are taking?
I'm gonna have to go with Lawrence because I didn't really watch too much of Pro Day, but I know that teams are high on him.
Yeah.
So I think if you're looking for a quarterback, I think he's one of those big names that you might want to grab. A lot of talk around him. So if you have a chance to grab him, I say people are going to go for him.
I definitely think he'll be the number 1 pick.
Yeah.
And that leaves Wilson and Fields as the second and third. So 49ers with the 3rd pick, who are they taking? Wilson or Fields?
I couldn't tell you on that one.
I'm going to go Fields because
I would never go Fields. I'm going to go. Who's the other one?
Wilson.
I'm going Wilson all the way. Russell Wilson.
There you go.
You go with this, Wilson?
That's actually good. I never thought about that. Stay away from the fields.
Yeah, don't, if your name's Fields and you play on a field, it never works out for you.
I think I know somebody who would buy a Fields jersey and is a 49ers fan.
Yeah, probably.
I think I know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Fields.
Fields.
Yeah, you would.
There it is.
I did.
All right.
I know what you're getting at.
All right, guys. Well, I think that's it for this week. We'll touch a little more on NFL next week. Again, thank you for joining us here on Par. And we'll see you again next week.
All right, guys.
Peace.